So what do we do? This panel is social justice in the 21st century. Not studying it, what do we do? How do we get people engaged? I mean, you each are here because you've demonstrated in your lives in more than one career that you know how to do that. Or you have some ideas about that. I mean,
storytelling. You have to tell the story. Everybody here is telling their story in different forums. And I think when people, you have to tell the story, give people the facts. I always say you have to inform, inspire, ignite, and impact. Those are my 4 I's. Inform people, inspire them to get involved, ignite them to get involved, give them the tools, and they can make an impact. For sure.
Shirley, I think we also have to respect one another. And that's a missing link here. People in some categories are not respected simply because of the category they're in. People with disabilities are often not respected because they're regarded as people who are not able. And I think we need to respect one another. People need to respect themselves, but that's hard to do if we don't teach others to respect. And to do that, we have to be inclusive in everything we do. When we plan a meeting, a party, we have to think about the whole community. When we reflect on President Johnson's legacy, we think about inclusion. And it's interesting, many people don't know that Hubert Humphrey included in the first draft of the Civil Rights Act a provision to include people with disabilities. It was dropped.
That's great.
In 1972, Senator Humphrey tried to make an amendment to the Civil Rights Act to include people with disabilities. It wasn't until 1990 when President George Herbert Walker Bush took the initiative to act on a recommendation from Congress to sign the Americans with Disabilities Act that we had our emancipation. So the disabled community is a little behind, but we're trying to catch up. And it's all about respect. I think for every one of the groups represented here, we really have to reflect on what we're doing in this country to respect others and to promote them so that they can be part of the solution. People with disabilities who are unemployed and want to work, that's not acceptable. People with disabilities who are living in institutions and want to be a part of their families and the communities, that's not acceptable. And people of any race, color, creed, age, whatever, who are not enabled to do everything they can do by our society. In fact, when the society prevents them from doing so as a result of negative attitudes and stereotypes, we have really done a disservice to ourselves.
Well, I want to come back to you, Lex, because I want you to answer David's question to his son. You know, I mean, he said, okay, what would you tell the president?
Well, actually, I've had the opportunity to tell the president.
That's good.
And what I said to the president was, keep on keeping on. The reality is we have to have leaders who are willing to stand up and say right is right and wrong is wrong. And this president, as a matter of fact, has filled the one gap that we regretted most in the Americans with Disabilities Act, and that was health care, until the Affordable Care Act was passed and signed by President Obama. People with disabilities could be legally discriminated against in health care, that which we might need most in order to maintain our independence. But thank goodness for the ACA, people cannot discriminate.